So, hi, Ayan. Welcome to India today. What do I call you, Ayan or Agni?
Agni. I'm
Yes,
trying to
so
get you to
please.
stick.
Yeah, I think I'll repeat the question. Tell me, how did you coin the term Agni for your stage name as a stage name?
Okay, so basically, there was a point in time around 7, 8 years ago when I had started writing, where for me, I wanted to have a faceless account. I wanted to start putting out music without actually an identity, just a persona that was speaking, that was expressing, that was putting out how they felt, what they thought. And at the time, I came up with Agni because I wanted it to have something to do with me and at the same time be ambiguous enough that it could be anybody. And that's where Agni came from. And eventually I didn't end up doing the faceless account idea, but purely because I didn't feel confident in the ability and that I had at the time and how good my work was at the time. So I spent a lot of like 8 years in the bathroom perfecting it, in the bedroom, a lot of time like on loop with the acoustics were nicer. And finally, by the time I was ready to actually start putting my music out there, I'd fallen in love with Agni. It meant something to me. It kind of liberated me in a way. It gave me a persona that gave me the confidence to express and say things that I may not have otherwise. Like as Ayan, I may have been hesitant, restricted to say certain things, but
Right.
Agni allowed me to be liberated, allowed me to be free. And I kind of fell in love with that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And tell me about more about the song Universal Laws. Like, how did that happen? When did you actually write it? Like, when was it complete? How much time did it take to produce? Tell me all about the journey with Universal Laws.
Okay. So Universal Law, it's actually a bit of a funny story. So I was when looking for a producer to produce my EP with. So I have a short album, 6 songs coming out soon. It's called Stories About a Storyteller.
Oh, wow.
And it's got 6 songs that are all very different. These are songs that I've actually written over the last 8 years. So some of them are like one of them is 8 years old, one is 5 years old, one is 2 years old. So they're just like different songs that I've written across like these 8 years. But I thought if I had to put a first project out and I really had to say everything, and this is what people are really going to hear of me and know of me, and if it's the only thing that they ever hear of me and know of me,
Yeah.
then these 6 songs, they really say a lot about me as a person, about me, like just my feelings, my outlook on life, and that kind of stuff.
But also tell me, I mean, because you've grown up in this core Bollywood family, I mean, people would have expected you to go all romantic, something filmy, or at least a Hindi song. What made you like
Mm,
go all out and do something so different, rapping an English song? I
yeah.
mean, just absolutely something out of the
It,
box.
it's just something that connected to me. I love music growing up. Like for me, it is something special. I used to go, we used to have the computer and dad had iTunes on that, and he used to have all of his music on iTunes. So I used to play, I used to sit and listen one song at a time, one song at a time, and whatever I liked, I'd put into a playlist called Ayaan. So from my dad's music, so from the 70s and the 80s, the English, the Hindi, all of that, I would go through my dad's playlist of music and I would make my playlist of music. So I actually got an experience of different kinds of musics from there. Like he had the Pretty Woman, the Hindi version and the English version, and they were both on my playlist, for example. And Brian Adams and like plenty of other artists and stuff as well. So that's where I got my exposure to that zone of music. And I kind of fell in love. I remember he had gone traveling once, and one of the first things that gifts that I remember him bringing back for me, there used to be these CD players.
Yeah,
You with the earphones,
right,
the
right.
headphones, which was the big thing back then. So you put like whatever CD or like cassette in, and then you'd like listen to that film ka song and stuff. And that's something that me and he got for me and my sister, and I should love it. Like I had this these whatever cassettes I had at the time of Bollywood films and whatever, I used to just keep listening to them, keep playing them. So it was just I always loved music, even for me and my dad. When he'd drop me to school in the morning, music is what we bonded over.
Right.
Like what we'd play, what we'd listen to is what we bonded over. So it's always at a special place.
Hmm.
And somewhere when writing turned into that, and music not only became from a happy place, but it also became an expression for me. It also became like something, it became bigger than just something that made me happy. It was something that kept me sane. It was something that allowed me to say the things that I may not be able to say in a conversation, or lots of, like, for me, it was somewhere there was this element of, if I can put it all together in a song with a melody and a hook and a chorus and all of that, is the only time you'll actually give me 2 minutes to actually say what I have to say
Yeah.
without asking me something, without interjecting, without the conversation going in a different direction, without it being misunderstood, because I had the
Mhm.
time to put it all together.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
for me, that was like, it was very important, because it's what I didn't feel like I had at the time, was the ability to say what I had to without being interjected or misunderstood.
Mm.
And allowing, like, writing that is what kind of music was,
Right.
it became special. It is just like, and it became even
Yeah.
more than just something I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
So.
But you also kind of aspire to maybe make music for film someday.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully. I have already featured on a track, or that's coming in Himesh's next film, I think.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, yeah, and I do have a few things on the horizon. I've also composed one semi-Hindi English track that the family is quite liked, and they do want to actually use in one of the films. My mom actually was the first person who said that, I think Mamu should sing this song. And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, it'd be sick if he sings it. So there is a
Amazing.
bunch that I am working on. For me, it's just about making music. It's nothing else. That
Yeah.
I don't care where the music goes as long as I get to make it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, tell me, you had such a star-studded launch of your song. One moment where Salman just goes and says, "Ye hota hai nepotism." I
Mm.
mean, that is something that you will continue to fight for your life.
Yeah.
I mean, that tag. How do you kind of, because you're just starting out, how are you like mentally prepared to fight this out?
I don't care, honestly. I think a lot of people like take a lot of stress over it, but it's I think it's a term taken out of context and used inappropriately.
Right.
It's not something that hasn't existed in civilization or any human society across the world since the dawn of time, right? Like, it's a, like, even in royal families, when there were royal families, it's a bloodline thing. In business families, in political
Yeah,
families,
of
and like
course.
across the world in anything, it's always been like, we come from a culture, literally,
Mm.
we come from a culture where we are always told, support your own, look after your own, fight for your own, your friends, your family, all of that. And then the flip side of that is also nepotism.
Mm.
Apno, like, you look after your friends and your family, nepotism. But like, that's what all of us since childhood has always been told to do, is look after your friends and family.
True.
So for me, that's not something that stresses me or bothers me, because it's just something that I think people haven't understood or have taken out of context a lot.
Mm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, tell me, I was reading somewhere that you started writing at the age of 16. Tell me who was the first one who discovered that you could write, and what was it like? How did you kind of incline towards writing?
My English teacher at the time, who thought I was borderline depressed and had serious concerns about what I was writing in my English exams. Yeah, it is actually, we were studying poetry, ninth, 10th grade. So there's a poet, Thomas Hardy.
Right.
So there's a lot of, like, his poems kind of, they were sad, they were like kind of boring. And initially you don't, there's a 15, 16-year-old, it's not what you're looking to connect to.
True.
But somehow, somewhere it did. Like, it influenced me in a manner that actually, like, I didn't know I was feeling things, until then suddenly one day I just like went to the refugee area in our building, staring out of the window. I was just had to put something down. Like, I had to write something. It could be anything. It was the basic. It started from poetry actually, and
Okay.
no one has read my poetry. It was never meant for anyone to read. I never like went out there saying I'm going to become a poet. It was just the only format I knew at the time, and I was learning it. So I guess it was easier for me to put thoughts
Yeah.
down in that structure. And that's where it came from. Then it turned into spoken word because it's cooler. And then it turned into rap because it's even cooler. And then eventually music and just composing.
Yes, yes. Of course, your grandfather is a writer. Salman has an inclination towards singing and music. But who in the family actually has like the best feedback to your music, to your work?
My dad is very involved.
Oh
My
wow!
dad is extremely involved. He's been in pretty much every studio session, every recording session that I've had. He definitely brings in not just support, but an opinion that has influenced the music at a
Mm,
level and that it's really brought things to life. Like I think me, Adi, and my dad have this special connection. Like when the three of us are in the studio together, I think we literally all of us feel that there is like a 45 minutes to an hour where none of us know what's happening. It's like God has taken over. Like
right.
it's a blank to us. Like we don't know. We started, we have coffee, this, that, whatever, ha ha ha. And then there's one point where we like cut to 2 hours later, and you're like just listening to the final product, and you're like, क्या हो गया? कैसे कैसे हो गया? हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा कहाँ से आया, कैसे आया? Because it's just like it's a flow.
Yeah,
It was just perfect. It just clicked.
absolutely.
Mm, yeah, my
But
dad.
growing up also, tell me, Agni, because your father, of course, is an actor, director, your maternal side, everyone's an artist. Did that kind of shape you also, just having them around, growing up around them?
Yeah, it definitely. I think when you're surrounded with artists, a
Yeah,
writer, an actor, director, producer, a stylist, a fashion, so when you're like surrounded by all different kinds of creative forms and like a family that's been exploring like or pursuing these arts for so
right.
long, it is definitely something that is reassuring. I knew I was somewhere the blood ran through me as an artist, if nothing
Yeah,
else.
yeah. But does Salim sir give you like a feedback on your work, on your writings?
Yeah, he's on my music video very. I showed him Universal Laws just before it had come out. Obviously, Nana couldn't come to Dubai because it's a bit difficult for him now,
Yeah.
traveling and stuff. But he really liked it. And when he met me the next time, actually my mom had showed him the video, and then I'd gone to Galaxy the next day, and he sees me and he goes, "अच्छा लगा, जो कर रहे हो, सुना मैंने, देखा मैंने, अच्छा लगा, करते रहो." And then
Yeah.
that honestly, I wasn't like I walked into not knowing what like it was random, and I was just like. Yeah, and then he's like, "आपका गाना." When it, so
Wow.
then I like for me it was just like, shit, damn, because
Sweet.
it's but what else could you ask for? I mean, he is a
Mhm.
legend in that regard, and for him to say, you know what, you're doing good work, just keep
Yeah.
doing what you're doing. It's the greatest thing that you could say
Yeah.
to a writer.
Right, right. Also, I mean, when it comes to Salman Agni, he has this flamboyant personality. But I think when he's with his nephew and nieces, I think we all see a very different side to him. He's been supportive towards your when ever since you launched Alize, of course. And I think one of the fondest memory that I have of Salman is the video with Ahil where they are punching each other. So
Hmm.
tell me, how is he as a Mamu? Like we all know him as the Bhai, but how is he as a Mamu?
He's very loving. He's very funny. He is the first person who'll give it to you straight. Also, he will not let us. He's he's all love and he's also tough love.
Hmm.
And there's a beautiful balance of both of those things that he does because he never let us feel like we've gotten it easy. And he never wanted us to have this in our head that things will be easy for us just because other people in our family have worked really hard and have made
Right.
it. He said that may not be the reality for you guys. You may work very hard and you may not make it. And
Hmm.
just know that it's not about feeling entitled or feeling disappointed or like any emotion, amount of emotions. It's entirely about doing what makes you happy and then being willing to commit your life to it regardless of whether you fail or you don't.
Right. Yeah. And he was
Yeah.
recently at Arhan's podcast and he had some really great advices. But does he like make you guys sit and give you some summons, you, Nirvan, Arhan, everyone?
Sorry, I didn't catch that last one.
Like, does he get you guys to sit together and gives his life advices to you guys? All
Yeah,
you
I mean, he doesn't.
cousins?
He didn't. It's not like he didn't summon us, but yes, it has happened over family dinners and lunches and times where we spent in
Yeah.
Panvel. He does. There's times when he expresses to us and he tells us what he's feeling, what he's thinking. Sometimes it comes from something would have happened in his life or at the time something's going on, and he's kind of expressing or like introspecting out loud to us about life and how things are, how people are. And he does. He wants us to learn. He wants us to be better. He wants us to know more. He's always said like the simplest things. He said, always focus on the basic things.
Right.
And focus on being good, be good people, be good to people.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, even when people are not good to you, still be good to them.
Yeah.
Because that's the greatest FU you could give to anybody is be nice to the man who like wanted you to be bad to them.
Hmm. And what about your other two mamus? How supportive are they towards your work?
Extremely. Soul Mamu is like the second father. He, from a very young age, has been extremely supportive of all the kids. He takes time out for us. Just like Soul Mamu is the person you can just pick up the phone and call, and you don't have to worry about him judging you or saying no or anything. Like he'll always say yes. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
as long as it's within his like capability or like an arm's length of a capability or something. He'll just yes, like he'll
Yeah.
he'll do it. Arbaz Mamu as well. He's very supportive. Actually, he was it's really funny. So there's a story I think where obviously people would know because it's my Nana has narrated it once. But Arbaz Mamu had gone to Nana once and he said, Dad, should I become a cricketer or should I become a singer? Because, I'm confused. And Nana goes, become a cricketer. He goes, but Dad, you've not seen me play cricket. He's like, yeah, but I've heard you singing. He should become a cricketer. So he was just like, at least there's somebody in the family who actually can sing and like do this music and stuff. So
Yeah.
someone is pursuing those dreams that all of us had somewhere. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
they're all very
Amazing.
supportive.
Yeah. But tell me, I think it was also onto your parents to give you and Alize like the kind of normal childhood that every kids that they needed. Tell me about life when you were growing up and how they kind of kept you guys away from the stardom that there was a part of the family was getting. Tell me more about your childhood and how did you guys grow up?
I'm very, very, very grateful that my parents made the decision to keep us out of the spotlight.
Mm.
They let they let being in the spotlight be our choice. Like when they were
Right.
like, when you're old enough to decide and you know what comes with it and what goes with it, because there is two sides to everything, then you can decide whether you want to be in it. And if you want to be in it, you can be in it. And then if you don't want to, again, like, no one is already looking at you.
Absolutely.
So it did allow us to have a relatively normal childhood. Of course, when your family has the influence, the aura, and the presence
Yeah.
that they do, it is hard to completely avoid it.
True.
And like, of course, we're a family, so we're always there supporting one another. We're always there for each other. So you're close enough to it to see it, but still, have that arm's length distance from it. So it definitely allowed us to have a slightly more normal childhood. And very grateful for it. And now that we've chosen to also, I think you may have noticed with like all of us, we are so selective about when we appear and how we appear. That is just entirely professionally. Like outside of when we actually
Right.
have work to promote and something to do, we don't actually make appearances or say
Mm.
anything or yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Also, as musicians right now, Agni, there's this entire criticism around auto-tune, of course. Then there's music that is created purely for social media, for Instagram, a 30-minute or a 1-minute reel format
Hmm.
music. Tell me about more about that and how do you plan to kind of stick to your own beliefs and then, of course, following trends?
Autotune is like a software. It's like saying that there are editing tools, but मैं edit नहीं करूंगा मैं ऐसे ही सारे short को डाल के ऐसे छोड़ दूंगा.
Ah,
At the end of the day, everybody uses autotune. You don't have to use autotune if you sound bad. You can sound good and use autotune to create a texture, to create a certain tonality that
mm,
goes with the sound, that goes with the effect. The biggest artists in the world, Charlie Puth, all of these guys, like even they use autotune, and that's somewhere at the end of the day people it helps because a lot of times you're sick or you're recording or some things like go off, take your time, you don't have time. There's a lot of things that like also
right.
happen. Sometimes you're like you behind the scenes you're working in a hurry. So it really is humane to artists in a way
Mm,
because it it's like today I'm sick, right? If I had to go in to record something today, you would hear it in my voice,
yeah,
right? And what
absolutely.
this kind of so sometimes that works. Like there have been songs like Party Fever I recorded sick. आदिवा इज लाइक नहीं आप आज करके जो आपकी आवाज अच्छी लग रही है इसे बैठी तो नहीं बैठी बैठी सी. So I said okay, you know.
Yeah.
So it works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't, but that auto tune really it gives you that grace period, that benefit. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And what about AI? I mean, that is also a tool that a lot of artists are
Crazy.
using. Yeah.
It's crazy now, this AI that's coming in. Like, I was sitting with Adiba in the studio that day, and he had created a song sample for a film he was working on. And he was just like, ये गाना ना ये सिंगर की आवाज में अच्छी लगेगी.
Hmm.
So he sang it, he processed it in that singer's voice through AI, and he sent it to him. He's like, ये है
Wow.
गाना ऐसे लगेगा आप गाओगे तो. And the singer's confused, like, मैंने कब गाया ये? मैंने in front of me just happened, like, मैंने कब गाया ये? He just like,
Absolutely.
नहीं 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 वो मैंने एआई पे करके दिया है, वो आपने गाया नहीं है, मैंने ही गाया है लेकिन एआई पे करके दिया है. एंड द सिंगर जस्ट लाइक, गाने की जरूरत ही क्या है, अभी आपने तो मेरी आवाज डाल दी,
True.
ऑलरेडी मेरे टेक्सचर में पूरी गा रही है. सो या इट हेल्प्स, एंड एट द सेम टाइम आई गेस इट्स आल्सो गोना लाइक एट सम पॉइंट क्रिएट अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स फॉर पीपल because you could
Yeah.
just anybody could write and compose a song in anybody's voice. Like maybe you, I wouldn't get a chance to work with Drake for a long time, but if I just needed to like write and say, oh, this is Drake's verse on my verse, like it's something that you could just do now.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah. But it also
playfully,
becomes a
yeah,
threat, I mean, for people in creative fields, like, of course.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
you'll never be able to take the human element out of the
Yeah,
artist,
that's
you
true.
know. Because at
Yeah,
the end of the day, the human is who feels, the human is who expresses. It's, and
absolutely.
yeah, you'll
Yeah.
never be able to take that away. We'll always need that touch of humanity.
Yeah. And apart from Drake, who else do you want to collab with in the near future?
50 Cent is like one
Wow.
of my favorite artists. Like if top three songs for me, like they're
Mm.
just it's 50 Cent. It's If I Can't, God Gave Me Style, Many Men. Like he whether I'm need to like be reminded to be happy, whether I need the boost, whether I need the confidence, whether I need anything, his music is one that really provides a range of those emotions for me.
Right.
Russ is another artist who is the reason I transitioned from just writing rap songs, like writing rap verses, to actually wanting to compose entire songs, melodies,
Mhm.
hooks, different things like that. So he's someone that I would definitely love to collaborate with. But yeah, and I have a few friends of mine who we make music together. They're some budding, like aspiring to be musicians, some working very
Yeah.
hard, some who just do it for fun. I really enjoy. They've played a huge role in my music, in my journey as an artist, in how I've developed as well. So they are people that I
Yeah.
would love to. You
Yeah.
will actually see some collaborations very soon.
Amazing. But did you never ever like think that you could also maybe venture into acting?
Eventually, probably, I will.
Yeah.
My degree is in acting and world theater.
Oh, wow.
So by education, I am a trained actor, and it's something I've loved since I was a child. But it as I grew older, I realized it is not acting specifically, but performance that
Mhm.
I really have a calling towards. So whether it's on camera, off camera, movement, singing, like, all of this stuff, for me, performing was fun. I loved what it could do for people.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like an artist, a performer, they really have the ability to make a person smile,
Mm.
to say thousands of things without really saying them, to make you have realizations without even having a conversation on like set topics and things. So for me,
Right.
the artist was like God in a way. Like you just like you got the power to heal people, you got the power to teach people, you got the power
Wow.
to influence people, and that to me was like what really called
Yeah.
to me. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
And